Some years ago, creationist Michael Behe formalized a black box idea called irreducible complexity. The idea holds that a complex organ or organism could not have evolved because it is composed of many parts that can only function as a whole. Because of this codependency, he argued, the organ is highly unlikely to have ever evolved. Take one part away, and the organ fails, and with it, so fails evolution. Behe's organ of choice to illustrate his heretical idea, the bacterial flagellum, is truly a wonderful organ. Its complexity puts the rusted gears of Paley's beached clock to shame. Despite what Behe alleges, however, we do have detailed explanations in respected peer-reviewed journals for the progressive evolution of this complex organ. Behe's infectious argument of irreducible complexity fails for at least two reasons. First, organ complexity typically develops from parts that evolved earlier, and for different reasons than we now see them performing. This becomes clear when you conduct a detailed comparison of a complex existing structure with similar features in related species. In the case of Behe's bacteria, flagella are rotary whips used for mobility, but they derive from a simpler syringe-like organ used to inject toxins into cells, based on these comparisons with other species. Having fewer parts and a function all its own, it provided a useful structure for evolution to exploit or salvage when making something new. Secondly, and more fundamentally, there is a presumption in creationist thought that closes their minds to nature's possibilities. The grand error that Behe and his allies make is that complex organs, and even organisms, have purpose. They confuse the idea of current function with the quite different concepts of plan, purpose, design, and intention. Their preference for explanation from design comes largely from their religious worldview, but the idea of purpose in nature is as old as philosophy, and it is cross-cultural. This perspective is fundamentally different from how most modern science approaches problem solving. We now know that when a complex structure evolves, instead of working from raw materials with any goal in mind, evolution largely builds and remolds features from existing inherited parts. Because of that, there is no end game, no measure of wholeness or completeness, no meaning to perfection, only adaptive attributes that may or may not work out that well as time passes and the environment changes. Most highly complex organs and species that have evolved have since gone extinct. When making the unnecessarily simplistic argument of irreducible complexity, creationists presuppose that existing functions are simply the way they always have been, and that these functions exist because of directional or determined purpose. The intelligently designed logic of science leads us to a different conclusion. Life's complexity, like a lowland tropical river, is in eternal flux, ebbing and flowing with the tides, coursing in a general direction, but often braiding in and out along a maze of eddies and pathways. Oddly enough, the best advice I was ever given for leading my own life has a lot in common with the way evolution works. It's about the journey, the pathway, the opportunities. It's not where you are in the end.